under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, please. Supervisors Skalitsky, Decker, and Molinaro are excused. Supervisor Alverman?
18.
That's
Been gone
okay.
so long.
Thank you. At this time, we'll open the meeting up to citizens' comments. Anybody wishing to speak? Anybody wishing to speak? Anybody wishing to speak? Seeing no one, citizens' comments are closed. Announcements of the chair, I have none. Supervisor reports. Supervisor Alverman.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. A couple brief comments from highways, parks, facilities, golf. The winter, I know, has been on all of our minds since we had a couple meetings that we had canceled due to weather and things. So I thought I'd give a brief report on how the highway department is doing. We had this report at our last meeting. In a normal winter, we would have what they call 25 storms, and a storm is naturally a snowstorm, and 10 incidents. And what they would talk about an incident would be a little ice on the road, the rain that we've had, drifting, that type of thing. And an incident, a lot of people don't realize we have to go out and do the same response with salting and things. So we are in one of those winters where we're using more materials than usual. To date, as of last Monday, we had used 6,100 tons of salt. And we need, on an estimate for the remainder of the year, another 5,600 tons. So in the average year, we have 25 storms and 10 incidents, so we're getting close to what we normally do. We do have the salt. We've been proactive, and we purchase for 2 years at a time. So the salt needed for the season normally is 7,500 tons, and this year we're looking at probably 11,000 to 12,000 tons used. So we are going to be purchasing a little bit more than we normally do, but again, we have plenty on site and plenty for our needs. It's just that we're using a little bit more than the average year. On facilities, people have also noted that the 60th Street Tower is on schedule for that March that I have reported on. The critical facade for this building that we're sitting in is the pre-qualification is completed for the bidders. The bidders were sent their documents and the bids were due January 21st. So work is to begin March, and we'll report on that at our next meeting. On the parks, I'm sure some of you read it in the paper. We had a very successful second youth fishing derby that we sponsored along with the 4-H clubs and the some of the local businesses. It was held at the Katy Park. Last year was our first year, and we had 22 to 23 participants that were registered. This year we had 82. We were, even with the bad weather, it wasn't cold, but we had rain all night the night before, so we had an abundance of parents and children there, and a very successful outing. I'm sure we're going to see that continue. Everyone, even though the fish weren't biting that day, everyone had a great time. So that's all I have tonight. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Supervisor Alverman. Supervisor Brunig.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Just a couple of things from Extension Education and Planning and Development. Through Extension Education, our youth and governance nominations are open now, and they are due to the office by February 7th. Anyone can nominate a youth, a 10th or 11th grader in their school. This can be done through family, friends, even supervisors. So if you have someone that you know of that you want to nominate, just go out on the website or check with Teddy Winnett in Extension, and she can get you the application or the nomination papers. For 4-H, we already have over 500 participants that will be joining us this year and 100+ adult volunteers. They all had to sign up through the website this year, so they're still having an issue of getting the adults to go in and do that registration online. They weren't real sure that they had to do that, but we have over 100 adult volunteers already for this year. Through Planning and Development, I'm very excited to let everyone know that Country Thunder has filed their CUP application for 2014. This means that they will probably go to Randall in February and be coming to the county board so that it will land on our 2 meetings on separate nights. That's all I have. Thank you.
Is this the earliest that's happened?
Yes.
Thank you, Supervisor Brunig. Seeing no more lights, supervisor reports are closed. We'll move on to the appointments.
County Executive Appointments, 23, Lillian Brown to serve on the Kenosha County Commission on Aging.
Refer to Human Services.
Kathy Otto to serve on the Kenosha County Aging and Disability Resource Center Board.
Refer to Human Services.
Susan Fennell to serve on the Kenosha County Aging and Disability Resource Center Board.
Refer to Human Services.
Ellen Kupfer to serve on the Kenosha County Library System Board.
Refer to Finance.
Ruth Fangmeyer to serve on the Kenosha County Commission on Aging.
Refer to Human Services.
Dr. Richard Hertz to serve on the Kenosha County Aging and Disability Resource Center Board.
Refer to Human Services.
Kim Preston to serve on the Kenosha County Aging and Disability Resource Center Board.
Refer to Human Services.
Carol Schaffel to serve on the Kenosha County Commission on Aging.
Refer to Human Services.
Daniel Neurer to serve on the Kenosha County Commission on Aging.
Refer to Human Services.
Jamal Hassan to serve on the Kenosha County Aging and Disability Resource Center Board.
Refer to Human Services.
June Sinkfield to serve on the Kenosha County Aging and Disability Resource Center Board.
Refer to Human Services.
Nancy Kemp to serve on the Kenosha County Library System Board.
Refer to Finance.
Aaron Larkin to serve on the Kenosha County Aging and Disability Resource Center Board.
Refer to Human Services.
Supervisor Ronald Johnson to serve on the Kenosha County Library System Board.
Refer to Finance.
Christopher Mason to serve as the Director of the Kenosha County Department of Public Works and Development Services.
Refer to Public Works.
Alrighty. New business ordinance first reading to required. 21, from Public Works Facilities to create an ordinance on parking regulations on County Trunk Highway KD, beginning 1,800 feet northerly from its intersection with County Trunk Highway F, and proceeding to a point 6,000 feet northerly from its intersection with County Trunk Highway F. Elverman, yes. Noble, yes. Dodge, yes. Nudo, no. And Skalitsky, no. 22, from Judiciary and Law and Finance Administration Committees, an ordinance to amend Section 4.40 Jail Inmate Maintenance Cost. Esposito, yes. Ron Johnson, yes. Boyd Frederick, yes. Arrington, excused. Johnson, yes. Montemiro, yes. Noble, yes. Finance, Rose, yes. Ron Frederick, yes. O'Day, yes. Grady, yes. Colmeyer, yes. Kubicki, yes. Molinaro, yes. Ordinance 15, one reading, from Planning, Development, Extension, Education Committee regarding proposed comprehensive plan amendment, David R. Baker and Elizabeth A. Peterson, owners, request an amendment to the adopted land use plan map for Kenosha County 2035, map 65 of the comprehensive plan, from general agricultural and open land and isolated natural resource area to general agricultural and open land, suburban density residential, and isolated natural resource area in the town of Brighton. Brunig, yes. Decker, yes. Underhill, yes. Dodge, yes. Skalitsky, excused.
Supervisor Brunig.
Move ordinance number 15.
Ordinance 15's been moved by Supervisor Brunig, seconded by Supervisor Underhill. Supervisor Brunig.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This item is in conjunction with Resolution Number 74 that's scheduled later on the agenda. This property is located on the 240th Avenue, which is County Trunk Highway X, near intersection of State Trunk Highway 142, which is Burlington Road, and is commonly known as 1413 240th Avenue in Kansasville, the town of Brighton. The comprehensive plan amendment will allow a revision of map 65 of the comprehensive plan from general agricultural and open land and isolated natural resource area to general agricultural and open land, suburban density residential, and isolated natural resource area. This is on tax parcel number 30-4-220-141-0500, and the town of Brighton recommended approval of the request.
Thank you, Supervisor Bruning. All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Ordinance 15 is passed.
Ordinance 16 from Planning, Development, and Extension Education Committee regarding Kenosha County owner, Kenosha County Planning, Development, and Extension Education Committee sponsor, requesting a rezoning from R4 Urban Single Family Residential District and C1 Lowland Resource Conservancy District to R4 Urban Single Family Residential District and C1 Lowland Resource Conservancy District in the town of Salem. Brunig, yes. Decker, yes. Underhill, yes. Dodge, yes. Skalitsky, yes.
Supervisor Brunig.
Move ordinance number 16.
Ordinance 16 has been moved by Supervisor Brunig, seconded by Supervisor Underhill. Supervisor Brunig.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This property is located at the intersection of 99th Street and 270th Court. The rezoning request is considered a map amendment to reflect actual field conditions and to accurately delineate the wetlands. The town of Salem recommended approval of the request.
Thank you, Supervisor Brunig. All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Ordinance 16 is passed.
Ordinance 17 from Planning, Development, and Extension Education Committee regarding Kenosha County owner, Kenosha County Planning, Development, and Extension Education Committee sponsor, requesting a rezoning from R5 Urban Single Family Residential District to R5 Urban Single Family Residential District and C1 Lowland Resource Conservancy District in the town of Salem. Brunig, yes. Decker, yes. Underhill, yes. Dodge, yes. Skalitsky, yes.
Supervisor Brunig.
Move ordinance number 17.
Ordinance number 17 has been moved by Supervisor Brunig, seconded by Supervisor Underhill. Supervisor Brunig.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This property is located at the southwest corner of State Trunk Highway 83, which is Antioch Road, and 126th Place. The rezoning request is considered a map amendment to reflect actual field conditions to accurately delineate the wetlands. The town of Salem recommended approval of the request.
Thank you, Supervisor Brunig. All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? That ordinance is passed.
Ordinance 18 from Planning, Development, and Extension Education Committee regarding Falcon Heights Homeowners Association owner, Kenosha County Planning, Development, and Extension Education Committee sponsor, requesting a rezoning from R2 Suburban Single Family Residential District to R2 Suburban Single Family Residential District and C1 Lowland Resource Conservancy District in the town of Salem. Brunig, yes. Decker, yes. Underhill, yes. Dodge, yes. Skalitsky, yes.
Supervisor Brunig.
Move ordinance number 18.
Ordinance 18 has been moved by Supervisor Brunig, seconded by Supervisor Dodge. Supervisor Brunig.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This property is located on 256th Avenue, approximately 750 feet south of County Trunk Highway AH, 89th Street in the town of Salem, and the rezoning request is considered a map amendment to reflect actual field conditions to accurately delineate the wetlands. The town of Salem recommended approval of the request.
Thank you, Supervisor Brunig. All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Ordinance 18 is approved.
Ordinance 19 from Planning, Development, and Extension Education Committee regarding Comprehensive Plan Amendment, Planning, Development, and Extension Education Committee sponsor, request approval of draft annual report, a multi-jurisdictional comprehensive plan for Kenosha County 2035, 2011-2012 annual report, and text amendment to Part 2 of Chapter 15. Implementation element of the multi-jurisdictional comprehensive plan for Kenosha County 2035 to add an exception for an amendment to the plan for rezones back to original zoning for developments that were not constructed. Brunig, yes. Decker, yes. Underhill, yes. Dodge, yes. Skalitsky, yes.
Supervisor Brunig.
Move ordinance number 19.
Ordinance number 19 has been moved by Supervisor Brunig, seconded by Supervisor Underhill. Supervisor Brunig?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This item was processed October of 2012 and was presented as a resolution. The state requires a resolution from the Planning, Development, Extension, Education Committee and an ordinance from the full county board to amend the comprehensive plan and for approval of the annual report. This ordinance would formally approve the 2011-2012 annual report of the multi-jurisdictional comprehensive plan for Kenosha County 2035. The Planning, Development, and Extension Education Committee recommends approval of this item at their meeting of January 8th, 2014. Thank you.
Thank you, Supervisor Brunig. All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Ordinance 19 is passed.
Ordinance 20, from Planning, Development, and Extension Education Committee regarding Comprehensive Plan Amendment, Planning, Development, and Extension Education Committee sponsor, request approval of draft annual report, a multi-jurisdictional comprehensive plan for Kenosha County 2035, 2012, 2013 annual report, and text amendments describing the land use plan map for map 65 and map 80 to remap stormwater basins shown as non-farmed wetlands outside environmental corridors, isolated natural resource areas, or other conservancy land to be preserved as surface water. Brunig, yes. Decker, yes. Underhill, yes. Dodge, yes. Skalitsky, yes.
Supervisor Brunig.
Move ordinance number 20.
Ordinance number 20 has been moved by Supervisor Brunig, seconded by Supervisor Dodge. Supervisor Brunig.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This item was processed October 9th of 2013 and was presented as a resolution. The state requires a resolution from the Planning, Development, Extension, Education Committee and an ordinance from the full county board to amend the comprehensive plan and for the approval of the annual report. The ordinance would formally approve the 2012-2013 annual report of the multi-jurisdictional comprehensive plan for Kenosha County 2035. We approved this on January 8th of 2014. Thank you.
Thank you, Supervisor Brunig. All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Ordinance 20 is passed.
Resolution 74, Planning, Development, and Extension Education Committee regarding proposed comprehensive plan amendment, David R. Baker and Elizabeth A. Peterson, owners, request an amendment to the adopted land use plan map for Kenosha County 2035, map 65 of the comprehensive plan, from general agricultural and open land and isolated natural resource area to general agricultural and open land, suburban density residential, and isolated natural resource area in the town of Brighton. Brunig, yes. Decker, yes. Underhill, yes. Dodge, yes. Skalitsky, excused.
Supervisor Brunig.
Move resolution number 74.
Resolution 74 has been moved by Supervisor Brunig, seconded by Supervisor Underhill. Supervisor Brunig.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The state requires a resolution from the Planning, Development, Extension, Education Committee and an ordinance from the full county board to amend the comprehensive plan. This resolution would allow an amendment to the Kenosha County Comprehensive Plan for a change from general agriculture and open land and isolated natural resource area to general agriculture and open land, suburban density residential, and isolated natural resource area in the town of Brighton. The town of Brighton recommended approval of the request.
Thank you, Supervisor Brunig. All those in favor?
Yes.
Correct. Hold on. There you go.
Sorry.
No problem.
What is the proper date on here? I see January, is it the 7th?
January 8th was when we approved it. It was probably approved at, in the town on January 7th.
So just as long as we have everyone in the know here, it should be January 8th. And that's the date it was signed as well? When did it come before your committee?
It would have come before our committee, I believe, on the 8th.
Okay. That's my question. Thank you.
Thank you, Supervisor Grady.
Right? That's what I said on all the other ones, right?
All those in favor of Resolution 74?
Aye.
Any opposed? Resolution 74 is passed.
Resolution 75, from Human Services and Finance Administration Committees, a resolution to request use of 2013 operating surplus for facility repairs and capital purchases and replacements. Human Service, Hallman, yes. Boyd Frederick, yes. Johnson, yes. Decker, excused. Arrington, yes. Montemiro, yes. Nudo, yes. Finance and Administration, Rose, yes. Ron Frederick, yes. O'Day, yes. Colmeyer, yes. Kubicki, yes. Molinaro, yes. Grady, yes.
Supervisor Holman?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Move resolution number 75.
Resolution 75 has been moved by Supervisor Holman, seconded by Supervisor Boyd Frederick. Supervisor Holman?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This, I think, is fairly routine in some respects. The Human Services Committee met tonight to go over this, and of course, the agenda item following it. Basically, there were some inspections done of Brookside. Some repairs need to be made to deal with some safety conditions, replacement of the lighting in the event of it being fire hazard, replacement of the flooring. There's some cracks apparently in the floor that could harbor disease and cause infections inside the facility. The dock, apparently the metal on the dock is rusting, and of course, if the dock rusts through, it will be difficult to get things delivered in and out of the facility. So this is to deal with some of those maintenance issues.
Thank you, Supervisor Holman. Seeing no lights, this is a budget modification, and we'll take a roll call on it. Has passed unanimously, 20-0.
Resolution 76 from Human Services, a resolution for approval of Brookside Care Center's compliance program, including the compliance plan and the code of conduct. Holman, yes. Boyd Frederick, yes. Anita Johnson, yes. Decker, excused. Arrington, yes. Montemiro, yes. Nudo, yes.
Supervisor Holman?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Move resolution 76.
Resolution 76 been moved by Supervisor Holman, seconded by Supervisor Nudo. Supervisor Holman?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Again, this agenda item was taken up in committee this evening. We had some discussion about it, although not a whole lot. Codes of conduct for these kinds of things are routine. This is a little bit unusual. One of the questions that came up was, why have we not seen something like this sooner? The response that came back really was that Congress essentially was just now getting around to it. These things were done in other ways in terms of compliance by a variety of other methods, but the Affordable Care Act was an opportunity that Congress took to sort of codify everything together and is looking at using the information gleaned from these in terms of some survey work that the departments for the federal government are doing. Just sort of an FYI, prior to the Affordable Care Act, because Congress does consider these federal funds to be a major expenditure from both parties, it's something that they have been looking at for a long time. There were some audit reports from a division of the Treasury that identified cost savings and efficiency measures that could be taken. As part of that, codes of compliance was something that was suggested. Thank you.
Thank you, Supervisor Holman. Supervisor Dodge?
Yes, I just want to say on the advice of Corporation Counsel, I will be abstaining my vote on item number 76. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Supervisor Dodge. All those in favor of Resolution 76? Aye. Any opposed? We will note the one abstention from Supervisor Dodge. Resolution 76 is passed.
Resolution 77 from Finance Administration Committee regarding to approve the successor labor agreement between the County of Kenosha and the Kenosha County Deputy Sheriff's Association. Rose, yes. Ron Frederick, yes. O'Day, yes. Grady, yes. Colmeyer, yes. Kubicki, yes. Molinaro, yes.
Supervisor Rose?
I would move approval of the contract.
Supervisor Rose has moved number 77, and it's seconded by Vice Chair Kubicki. Supervisor Rose?
Thank you, and board members. This is a 3-year contract with the Deputy Sheriff's. Act 10 does not apply to it, so all of the issues that were before the administration and the Sheriff's Deputy Association are the same now as they were prior to Act 10. The first year includes a 2% wage increase effective on June 29th, 2014. The second year is a 1% increase in October 4th, 2015, and the third year is 1% on October 2nd of 2016. The other two changes are uniform allowance addition of $50 in 2014 and an additional $50 in 2016. The final change is one to be in compliance with the state law. It's a residency change requirement. A deputy can reside 15 miles from any of the borders of Kenosha County. So the committee approved this unanimously. We ask for your approval this evening. If the total cost increase in 2016 for implementation of the entire Crown contract is $9,059,328. This is a increase of some $475,622. The total contract average increase is 5.5%, or 1.8% per annum from the 2013 budget.
Thank you, Supervisor Rose. Seeing no lights, all those in favor of Resolution 77?
Aye.
Any opposed? Resolution 77 is passed.
Resolution 78 from Judiciary and Law and Finance Administration Committees regarding Wisconsin DOT Kenosha County Pretrial Intensive Supervision Program 17 Grant Award for 2013-2014 and Supplemental Award for the 2012-2013 program. Judiciary and Law, Esposito, yes. Ron Johnson, yes. Boyd Frederick, yes. Arrington, excused. Anita Johnson, yes. Montemiro, yes. Noble, yes. Finance and Admin, Rose, yes. Frederick, yes. John O'Day, yes. Grady, yes. Kohlmeyer, yes. Kubicki, yes. Molinaro, yes.
Supervisor Esposito.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I move Resolution 78.
Resolution 78's been moved by Supervisor Esposito, seconded by Supervisor Ron Johnson. Supervisor Esposito.
This resolution is a grant award of $70,000 plus an additional $1,079 and a supplemental award for the Sheriff's Department DUI Intensive Supervision Program, which is now in its 17th year. We had quite a bit of discussion on this at our committee. I asked Nancy Otis from the Sheriff's Department to provide some statistics for us, as she did. Overall, it seems to be a good program, and it's working quite well in the statistics that we had seen. Obviously, it's for second-time offenders. The question was asked, why not first? And in the state of Wisconsin, it's a misdemeanor for a first-time DUI. So with approval of both committees, I urge your approval. Thank you.
Thank you, Supervisor Esposito. How long have we been receiving this grant?
17 years.
17 years. Okay, thank you. Seeing no lights, this is a budget modification, so we will take a roll call on it. Hold on. Okay, go ahead.
What did you say was the amount of the grant again?
The grant award was for $70,000, and then there was a supplemental, Wisconsin DOT also awarded a supplemental award of $1,079 under the prior ISP grant program.
All right.
So the total would be $71,079. Okay.
Thank you.
Anything else, Supervisor Rose? Thank you. As I said, roll call, please. Resolution 78 is passed 20-0.
Resolution 79 from Judiciary and Law and Finance Administration Committees regarding Wisconsin DOT BOTS Alcohol Enforcement Grant 2013-2014. Judiciary and Law, Esposito, yes. Ronald Johnson, yes. Boyd Frederick, yes. Arrington, excused. Anita Johnson, yes. Montemiro, yes. Noble, yes. Finance, Rose, yes. Ron Frederick, yes. O'Day, yes. Grady, yes. Kohlmeyer, yes. Kubicki, yes. Molinaro, yes.
Supervisor Esposito.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I move Resolution 79.
Resolution 79's been moved by Supervisor Esposito, seconded by Supervisor Anita Johnson. Supervisor Esposito.
Again, this is another grant from the Wisconsin DOT BOTS. It's alcohol enforcement grant for the award of $24,300 from the Department of Transportation to establish mobilized enforcement efforts between October 13 and September of 2014 to enforce alcohol-impaired drivers and so on and so forth. The resolution seems to have pretty good merit to it as far as allowing these deputies this extra time to somewhat traffic alcohol-related impaired drivers, so on and so forth. I'd like to note that the resolution requires no funds from the general fund. It increases the revenues by $24,300 and increases the expenditures by $24,300. I urge your approval. Thank you.
Thank you, Supervisor Esposito. Seeing no lights, this is also a budget modification, and we'll take roll call. Supervisor Noble. Thank you. This resolution 79 passes 20-0.
Resolution 80 from Judiciary and Law and Finance Administration Committee regarding the purchase and disbursement of funds for Joint Services Digital Image Management System. Judiciary and Law, Esposito, yes. Ron Johnson, yes. Boyd Frederick, yes. Arrington, yes. Anita Johnson, yes. Montemiro, yes. Noble, yes. Finance, Rose, yes. Ron Frederick, yes. O'Day, yes. Grady, yes. Colmeyer, yes. Kubicki, yes. And Molinaro, yes.
Supervisor Rose.
Mr. Chairman, I would move resolution number 80.
Resolution number 80 has been moved by Supervisor Rose, seconded by Vice Chair Kubicki. Supervisor Rose.
Right, the estimated cost of this is some $80,000. This day updates the current old-fashioned, if you will, photography system with digital imaging. So this is the beginning of the implementation of the larger issue, which we approved the initial resolution authorizing the issuance of $1.7 million of notes for the public safety software. And this is the beginning of the implementation of that with the expenditure of some $100,000 for the upgrade of what is called digital imaging to replace the old photography system.
Thank you, Supervisor Rose. Seeing no lights, all those in favor of Resolution 80? Aye. Any opposed? Resolution 80 is passed. Yes, sir, Supervisor Grady.
On 77, Resolution 77, we took a voice vote on that. Is that sufficient for that?
I
Yes.
believe so.
Yes, it is.
It's not considered budget modification?
No.
All right, thank you.
The money was in, excuse me for interrupting, but the money was in the budget,
Okay.
and so that has already been approved. This is merely the implementation of the expenditure.
I don't consider that a interruption. That's
All right.
just a clarification.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, Supervisor Rose.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Supervisor Grady.
Communication 11 from Andy M. Bueller regarding future items scheduled before the Planning, Development, and Extension Education Committee.
The board will receive and file that communication.
12, communication from Andy M. Bueller regarding future items scheduled before the Planning, Development, and Extension Education Committee.
We will receive and file that communication as well.
Claim 23, Brian Witchow denied medical treatment while incarcerated.
Refer to the Corporation Council.
24, Menards Fox Lake, vehicle damage.
Refer to the Corporation Council.
25, Randy Allen Moore, lost property.
Refer to the Corporation Council.
Approval of the minutes from the December 3rd, 2013 minutes by Supervisor Dodge.
Supervisor Dodge.
Move to approve.
Supervisor Dodge has moved to approve the minutes from the December 3rd, 2013 meeting, seconded by Supervisor Underhill. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? The minutes are approved. Vice Chair Kubicki has made a motion to adjourn. Seconded by Supervisor Arrington. All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Any opposed?
You ever want to know